All right. Welcome back. Another episode of his podcast. If you want to know about getting your money together as far as trading, flipping that money, looking at them charts, learning what all that stuff mean, this is the episode for you. We got a guest that has proven his ability in the crypto world. Uh, he's local, you know. So without further introduction, we got Mr. Kelly Allen.
Appreciate y'all for having me, bro. I am super excited. I mean, y'all are my guys, but I've watched from afar and I've been waiting on my time, and here it is.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you for having me. Let's get it.
For sure.
You said
Make sure you bring the heat.
Listen, I'm gonna give you all I got. Telling you, I've been waiting on this moment for a long time.
Circle back at the end of the episode. I'm gonna ask you.
All right, but we might have to do a part 2 because it's a lot to unpack when it comes to like crypto and investing and things like that. And quick disclaimer: this is not financial advice. Invest at your own risk. This is a big boy game. Crypto does not care about your lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I like how raw you and uncut you start. Hold on, before. Okay, Kelly. I mean, so what exactly is crypto? What is that to you? What is crypto?
So crypto is a lot of fun for me just because like I like the volatility. It's not like the traditional stock game. It's real fast, real quick, in and out. It appeases like my trader mentality because I think about things kind of short term. The old school way of doing it is like, dollar cost averaging, hold, keep investing here and there and all that good stuff. But crypto has added so many different layers to investing. And it just really piqued my interest. And I also have like a very high risk appetite, which crypto is the most riskiest thing on the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just like that. It's just real exciting. I like the thrill of trading it.
So you're a gambler. That's what you're saying.
It's only gambling if you don't know what you're doing, in my opinion, or you don't have any control over it. And of course, I don't have any control over the market, but as a trader, you build your confluences up. You do your due diligence, and then you make an educated determination of if you should place the trade or not based on if it follows your rules and things of that nature. It's all about probabilities. It's not necessarily about gambling. Like if I'm at a slot machine, I put my quarters in and I turn it, and I'm at the mercy of the machine. And it's already set up for us to lose anyway, but it's almost like saying, I'm gambling by, investing in maybe like an index fund or something like that. That's how I see it, even though it's totally different because I believe in what I put my research in. So to me, it's not gambling because I did my due diligence.
Gotcha. Well, so before we go in any deeper, I mean, Jarvis gave the audience a little bit of your credentials, as far as trading crypto for the last, 4 years now?
Nah, I actually haven't even been in the game that long. It's been less than 2 years. I probably have to say solid like a year and a half.
Okay, I'm sorry. You traded Forex. It was Forex.
Oh, yeah. I've been in and out of Forex since like 2018.
Okay, so your credentials include Forex, get into Bitcoin. You got into Bitcoin December 2020. Where it was at 9,000 before it went on that major crazy run to like 67, 69,000. Insane.
Yes.
You're also part of the Ethereum folks, that's invested in that, correct? Mm-hmm. And you also have a background in mortgage and loans and all that stuff. So I said that all to say, you know what you're talking about. You're credentialed, you're solidified.
Yeah, I spent a little time.
Okay. Okay. With that being said, what's your background? Where'd you go to school? What's your education background, your scope, all that stuff, man?
All right. So I'm a homeboy. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I went to Lee High School. Now it's known as Riverside. Originally, out of high school, I went to this college called Johnson and Wales in Miami. Played golf down there. Ended up getting recruited to play Division II for Benedict College, which is an HBCU out of Columbia, South Carolina. So I have a big golf background. I've been playing golf since I was my dad put a club in my hand at 2, and then I started playing competitively at 12, and then I just kind of ran with it from there.
Gotcha. So you went to school for golf. What'd you graduate? What'd you study?
Oh, yeah, of course. The basic question. But so I grew up an engineering tech student, but then I decided that I didn't really like that very much. So I was just like, All right. Well, and then the college that I chose to go to originally, Johnson and Wales, didn't have a engineering program, so I just decided to go into business. Now, little did I know that's what became my field. Like, that's what I like. That's what I had a passion for. I was just doing it because I wanted to go to Miami. I wanted to go crazy. I wanted to play golf. I wasn't thinking about school at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but it ended up working out. So, I fell in love with business, and then I started getting I didn't know that I was trying to be an entrepreneur. I just knew I wanted to start and grow and build my own thing. So that's where that started.
Gotcha.
So then of course I went to Benedict College, and then I ended up studying business as well. And, it just just took off from there.
Gotcha.
From there, as far as circling back to the episode, from, Benedict, how did that lead to the world of investing? When did you know that you needed to, I need to start growing this money?
Well, honestly, I didn't think about, so I lived a pretty boring and blessed life. Like, I had great parents. I didn't know that I had already lived through 2 recessions. So the dot-com bubble, which was in 99, 2000, as well as the
0809.
the 0809 financial crash. Had no clue what was going on. My life stayed pretty much even keeled my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So big props to my peoples.
Sure.
Of course, I'm from Myrtle Avenue,
Myrtle.
1530 West 10th
My
Street.
Lord.
Yeah. So I didn't grow up in the best house, but I was happy with what I had. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had everything that I felt like I needed.
Right.
So that never had a real effect on me. But once I graduated college, that's when I realized I needed to make some money. Right. I knew that golf, growing up, I wanted to be a professional golfer. Shout out to Tiger Woods for being my inspiration. But once I graduated, I just didn't have the passion to grind in the freaking 100-degree weather anymore.
For sure. Ain't no reason to.
If that's for you, it's for you. I just realized that it wasn't for me anymore. So I realized that I needed to make some money. I had some bills coming in. Like, I had stuff that I was starting to be responsible for. So I dabbled in everything. Like, I worked at Topgolf, restaurants. I worked for the First Tee for 10 years. So I kind of did that and just kind of pieced the puzzle together, or pieced the pie together, to try to make somewhat of a decent income that I could live off of. So, of course, the older I got, the more intense the pressure gets to make more money, especially being a man and stuff like that. And then I want more. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the things that I like are very expensive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm really not like, what is it? Is it called frugal when you don't spend a lot?
Frugal.
Right, that's frugal, yeah.
So, like, I'm responsible with my money. I know when I need to deploy it and when I need to hold it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like,
YOLO.
I'm gonna YOLO it. I'm gonna buy some really expensive stuff that I'm gonna be looking at like, dang, but I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it.
For sure.
So that's when, and the whole investing thing was pretty much by accident, because I remember I was at a beach. I was at a party at the beach, and I ran into this guy. I met him. We started talking. He asked me what I did. I asked him what he did, of course. And he said that he traded Forex. And I'm like, well, what is that? So we met up at the library downtown. He showed me this chart. Of course, it was technical analysis. I didn't know what it was at the time. And it was just crazy to me. I was like, so you're making money off of these bars. And then, we started hanging out more, and he started showing me more and more and more and more. And I got fascinated because of the potential that the market provided. Like, I've heard, like, and this was years later, but, there's stories of people flipping like 250 to 600,000 and things like that. And how you can I've seen the guy make like $1,000 in 30 minutes in my face. I'm like, bro, like, who's doing that? And then he didn't have to do anything but click a button. Now, of course, it's not that simple. I'm oversimplifying it, but essentially, like, you can only imagine the scalability of that. You don't need anybody but yourself and some internet. Like, it's very evergreen, so you don't have to worry about, unless the internet shuts off or they outlaw trading somehow, You don't have to worry about ever losing your job. You know, you're an entrepreneur. You pretty much can make as much or as little as you want. So that's where I started.
Hold on, before you go any further, a lot of people are probably listening to that. They're saying, okay, that's true. That's all fine and dandy. But there seems to be a whole lot less of Forex traders in 2022. In 2018, 2019, it seems like everyone was a Forex trader. So
Right.
what happened? And that's probably why people are not jumping to this kind of stuff. They're probably thinking crypto, Forex. This are all fads. These are all, lightning in a bottle. It's
Right.
not really here to stay or sustainable. What
Yeah.
do you say to that?
Yeah, and I have a theory about that. So there was a season, and I'd hate to do this and name drop this, but there's a certain multi-level marketing thing that was going around with a specific company. I'm not going to get into it, but pretty much what they do is they bring you on. They use Forex, of course, as kind of like the marketing kick point of it. And then, they try to get you to recruit a bunch of people and things like that. But the people originally get into it to trade. Unfortunately, more times than not, these people that are recruiting you using Forex do not know nothing about it, don't know how to trade it. They're just trying to recruit you and get the residuals from, being under them.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
Exactly, exactly. So that turns people off because, like, for one, most people don't want to recruit people. And for two, they're not making any money. They're losing their money on the Forex market because they sell you these indicators that don't work. They're too slow. They just don't work. And then they don't know how to trade, and these people are not making money. They're losing money, and then they have to go through the pain of trying to recruit people. And now it's getting worse and worse just because it's more saturated, and so many people have been burned by this particular company or these particular companies, 'cause I'm sure there's more of them, that they associate the industry, or I don't even know if I should call it industry, but they associate the skill set and the market with that company. So it seems like it's a scam, but it's not. Forex itself is the biggest financial market in the world. I think it trades at like 6 trillion a day or something like that. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's nowhere in the world that's got more money flowing through it than Forex. It's very real. The banks trade your money, hedge funds, everybody has their hand in it that's making real money.
How do you feel like Forex is going to do during a recession? Does a recession impact the sustainability or the success of Forex?
Instagram said it's recession proof.
I don't trust nothing.
Well, let's unpack that. Okay, so the reason why I agree with Jarvis is because, like, you can sell the market. What you're doing is you're trading one economy for the next. So, for example, with Forex, you trade two currencies against each other. Essentially, you're trading two economies against each other. So we have United States dollar and the euro, for example. So all you need to do is figure out.
Hold on, what does that mean? What are we betting against? What are we saying? It kind of.
I would hate to use the word bet, but okay. So in the foreign exchange market, you are investing in other countries' economies, and you do it through what is called a pair. Right? Pairs come in but the pairs are made up of two currencies, right? Any countries you can think of. So some of the popular ones are Euro USD, so the euro versus the United States dollar. You have the Great British Pound against the Japanese yen. You have the United States dollar against the Japanese yen. Did I just say that?
You just said a couple different ones.
Okay, well, you guys kind of get the point. So
what I'm asking you is, what does that mean?
I'm telling you. I'm trying to do it as simply as I can. Yeah, so what you're doing is buying one currency and selling against another. So, for example, if I'm trading USD JPY, so United States dollar against the Japanese yen, if I am expecting the dollar to appreciate, or if I feel like the economy, based off of my research and my technical analysis, if I feel like the United States dollar is going to appreciate against the yen, I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
Following me?
Mhm.
So I'm going to buy it based off what I'm seeing in technical analysis, which is that chart that we see with the bars on it that goes up and down, or fundamental analysis, which is pretty much the news. So, for example, like, I don't know if anybody is familiar with Bloomberg, but that would be an example of news in regards to a specific economy and how it's doing.
Right.
So if I feel like the Japanese or the yen and the economy around the yen is going to be poor or go down, especially against like America and the United States dollar, I'm going to buy it. And then I expect the chart to move up and vice versa. If the yen is stronger for whatever reason, I'm going to sell it because it's going to be stronger than the dollar, which is the base currency. The base currency is the first one. The quote currency is the second one. And now I might be getting a little bit too deep, but essentially that's what happens. That's why it doesn't matter if it's a recession or not. The problem with stocks is you only make money when the chart goes up unless you have a margin account.
Yep.
With foreign exchange, I can sell it or buy it and make money whether it goes up or down, so it doesn't matter.
Because one economy is going to be doing better than the other.
Exactly.
All the time. Mm-hmm.
And you can buy and sell. It doesn't matter. So, like, actually, this is probably the best time to make money because you know
that the U.S. is shit.
Going down.
You feel me? Like, you can
That's
just,
what I'm over here thinking. Like, damn.
if you have the capital to just hit the sell button, you're going to make a ton of money. Like, for example.
Like in the next 6 months to a year.
Right. Well, maybe even shorter time than that. Like, say if we're doing crypto. So there's like a crypto pair. It's called, it's the.
So these pairs are already made.
Right. They're already made. It's not something that I put together.
Like
right?
an algorithm.
Well, you use a broker. So the broker has the pairs that are available to trade. Okay. Typically, if you use a regulated broker, so such as one in the U.S. like Oanda, then it's not even. I wouldn't even say the U.S. It's just regulated to Americans. You can only trade like basic forex pairs. You can't trade like any commodities or anything like that. If you use an offshore, unregulated broker or something like that, then you can trade pretty much anything. Like I trade gold against the dollar, and I trade like crypto, so Bitcoin against the dollar and things like that. Like based off of what I know about crypto and the economy and things like that right now, because everybody's running to the dollar for the most part because of the interest rate hikes. If I had $1 million or something in my trading account, bro, I would just hit sell on Bitcoin. I'll wait till it gets to the specific trend line that I have drawn on my chart and just hit the sell button and wait because I'm expecting it to drop down to like 12,000.
All right, so what is it right now?
23.
Yeah, it's like 23, 25-ish area.
And you expect it to hit 12 within how long?
It's hard to tell just because, like, you know, I just kind of trade what I see. You never know what can happen because the market's going to react to whatever news is going on. Like, right. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. Like the war in Ukraine might escalate overnight. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm saying that would affect that particular pair, but just for example,
it would affect like petroleum, oil.
You see what I'm saying? Like there's so much stuff that could happen that could add a lot of volatility to the market. It's hard to say as far as the timeline is concerned, but based off of like the tech, because the technical analysis is very important, and I recommend everybody learn how to read that because it's basically a chart of people's emotions, right? So it's just going to show you how people are feeling at a given time. And typically, if you read the technicals correctly, it's going to follow the news anyway. The news just pushes it to that point faster, right? If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So technicals is very important, and that's how I made that big Bitcoin trade back in 2020 because I knew enough about. I believed in the fundamentals of it.
Hold on. Before you.
Am I getting ahead of it?
Hold on. Because you're going from. Let me clarify for the people that's listening. So we was just talking about forex.
Okay.
So now you're moving to.
I don't want to move too fast because the thing is where I got tied up is because like I trade crypto. I trade crypto aside from the forex market and in the forex market at the same time.
Okay.
Because there's a crypto pair. So in the forex market you trade pairs.
Right.
Now,
What
I
you saying?
trade Bitcoin separately as well. And I will talk more about that later. But if we're just sticking with Forex, that's kind of like where I'm at with that.
Okay, so now moving to crypto. I know you was about to get into that. So what it like? Elaborate on like what crypto is and what does it mean to you? How did you get into it?
Yeah, so funny thing is I got into crypto through Forex because when you're dealing with like these unregulated brokers, you have to fund the account with Bitcoin or whatever crypto they have for you. But I chose to do Bitcoin because that's what I had at the time.
Right.
So I used an exchange. I bought the Bitcoin. I funded my Forex account with Bitcoin, and I had made some money in the account, so I wanted to do a withdrawal. I actually
You funded your Forex account with Bitcoin, or you funded your Bitcoin account with Forex?
so I
Your
funded
crypto account.
the Forex account, so the brokerage, my Forex broker.
Right.
I funded that with Bitcoin
Okay.
because you can't just use like a credit card and use your
Right.
dollars.
Yeah, it's an unregulated.
At least the one that I used at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's how I had to do that. So in order for me to like sell, or in order for me to get the fiat or US dollars, I had to convert my money back into Bitcoin, into my exchange, and we'll probably get into that more later, but I had to put the Bitcoin, or I had to put my money back into Bitcoin, put it in my exchange, and then you liquidate the Bitcoin to get your dollars back.
Right.
Minus whatever the fee is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that one day, and it just so happened that Bitcoin was tanking mad hard that day. Like, as soon as I sold it back into the exchange, the value of my money at the time that I was that I was exchanging back into Bitcoin was worth like 43 cents, bro. I was freaking bugging.
I know you was sick.
Sick as a dog, bro. I was tripping because like that was damn near all the money that I had. Right? I didn't know what I was gonna. Trading was done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trading.
Yeah.
You on
I
time
gotta
out.
wait. You see what I'm saying? I gotta wait. I gotta stack up all this bread again to try to trade. Not to mention I got bills and crap coming up.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a
Dog. So I literally sat on my porch for like a couple hours trying to figure out what happened to me. So once I figured out like it's because of the Bitcoin's prices dropping, I started looking into Bitcoin like, what the hell is this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Cause like my neighbor across the street, he had put me on a Coinbase and Bitcoin and stuff like that. But at the time I wasn't interested because I didn't know crap about it. Like I hadn't really even heard about it like that. And the coin that he showed me, because Bitcoin at the time was like $3,500. It's like, I don't have $3,500 to put into this right now. So that was the first time I had seen it. But then this time it really had an effect on me because my money was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to figure out how to get it back.
Right.
So that led into a lot of research. And as I did my research, I started believing in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. And then in that process, my money came back because Bitcoin is so freaking volatile. It ripped back up and I sold it real quick. You know what I'm saying? I took a little L, but I was so happy to see.
Yeah.
Right. I was so happy to see something in that account that I just took it. But it really led me to like really go all in on the research because that was like, even though that was scary as hell, it made me interested in it. That something had the potential to like take it and give it right back. And I was thinking, what if it had been the other way around? What if I had sold it right at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
And then I put that money, it didn't do nothing. Literally in 2 minutes could have probably made like $1,000
Mm-hmm.
just off of that. So I was like, I need to figure this out. So I started doing more research and I started learning like the fundamentals behind it, why it was created, and the value that it had. So that's when I decided to, dive into the world of crypto.
It's crazy because a lot of, just piggybacking off what you're saying, like some of my, looking back now, some of the times I appreciate the most about my investment journey is the money that I lost. Because when I lost money, I went back and tried to figure out why did I lose the money and how can I prevent that going forward.
Yep.
Now, obviously, you can't predict what's going to happen. But, through research and, like, looking over what you did and how your portfolio is performing and stuff like that, like, you will eventually figure this shit out. You know, maybe not completely, but you're gonna get better
Right.
and better as time progresses.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I mean, so what's one of the biggest things you've learned just from, you know, trading Forex and doing crypto like that?
One thing about Forex is that it's really gonna teach you about yourself. So I realized so there's a few emotions that traders fall victim to. One is, you know, greed, impatience.
And what does that lead to? Like, what you
Leads you
Loss.
losing your money. That's just in short, you will lose your money. Like being too greedy, to being too overconfident, revenge trading, trying to get your money back after the market just took from you. Like,
sympathy trading.
right, you know what I'm saying? Like not waiting on your setups and confirmation, like that will cause you to lose your money because I don't know. I think the statistic is that 80% of the trading is mental anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really just psychology. Remember when I was telling you guys about the technical analysis being people's emotions? That's really all it is. And the other statistic is that, you know, 90% of traders fail because essentially trading is not that hard. Like once you get your system and your philosophy down, especially if you learned it from somebody who's an expert. Like my particular mentor is Jessica Lane. She's amazing. I advise everybody who's interested in Forex trading to check her out. She's legit and she's awesome. She does she does YouTube videos or YouTube sessions every Sunday at like 8:30. So check her out. But dang, I forgot where I was going with it. But
The biggest lessons you've learned from
yeah,
trading.
so my biggest lesson was I realized how impatient that I was because I would know exactly what to do, but I was so in a hurry to make money that I got in the trade too early. So now I'm sitting in drawdown, which is negative money at essentially. And then I'll be sitting in it for so long that I get fed up with it. I close it out for the loss because I think that it's just, you know, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? And then it goes right in my direction that I'd seen the whole time. So I realized that you have to wait. For one, it taught me how undisciplined I was because you to be a successful trader, you need to be disciplined. You need to have a set of rules. You need to stick to them and not trade without them. The money's not going anywhere. Like, for whatever reason, I just couldn't get into my head, and I still struggle with this to this day, is that there's always going to be another move. There's always going to be another opportunity to make money. I'd have made more money waiting for this setup and taking maybe 2 or 3 trades a week or whatever the case is than I ever did by hopping in the market, taking 20 trades, getting in here, getting out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All
Like,
over the place.
Exactly. Just trying to hit a home run, trying to get my money back, trying to make money or whatever the case is. Like, me just being patient, sticking to my rules, waiting for my setup that I've probably been waiting on the whole time made me so much more money.
Man, let me ask you. It leads me right into. I can say this person. So back in, I think it was 2018, when Bitcoin was like on sale.
Yeah, they had no idea.
What made you? Cause like I said, I remember you told me like, bruh, you need to put some money in this because it's finna jump.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't listen. I'll be honest. I didn't listen. But hell, you took heat, and it turned out real good for you financially.
Yeah.
What happened, or what kind of information? What you have access to make you or to help you like understand that hey, something about to happen?
Yeah. So for one, I did my due diligence. So I spent hours watching YouTube, reading whatever I could get my hands on to try to understand what this thing is, right? Another advantage that I had was that I read technicals, so I could see on the chart that it was like at that point in time, Bitcoin hadn't popped yet. It actually was. It had fell from like a 2017 high where it reached like 17 grand, and then it fell, so it was pretty bottomed out. And then, you know, I really believed in the fundamentals, where it was going. I ran into this guy named Anthony Pompliano on YouTube.
Right.
Seemed legit to me, so I believed everything that he was telling me, and it made sense. So I decided to go all in. Like I probably committed one of the biggest sins in investing, and I put all my eggs in one basket. I put my last
I remember.
in the Bitcoin. It was crazy. But I wasn't fearful at all. Like I said, I have a high risk appetite. So I was prepared to lose it, but I wasn't prepared to miss out on $100,000.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely risk 2,500 to potentially make $100,000. You know what I'm saying? Like I just couldn't let that go. So I was like, you know what? Bump it. We going in. And if I could have figured out how to get a whole one at that time, well, I would have had a whole one. I would have been really eating.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't figure it out at the now that I know more about like money and stuff like that. Like I could have got like some personal loans. My credit was straight. I was asking my mama whatever. I couldn't get nobody to get on the train for no $5,000 to put in no Bitcoin. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the unfortunate thing is like crypto is really driven by hype. You know, crypto is very speculative and it's driven by hype, and people will just jump in for fear of missing out. So FOMO, you guys will hear that in the space. And, you know, because their friend told them that they should do it.
Yeah.
Without researching it. Because like I seen that happen with the Dogecoin and was it Shiba?
Shiba.
See, I don't even know these coins like that no more because they're so irrelevant and they're so trash. Now, they were great money-making opportunities if you got in when the hype was just bubbling up. But these coins were not meant to hold. Like, if you really do your research on them, they're garbage. They're overinflated. The supply is crazy.
So do you ever see that happening again?
No. They're, in my opinion, based off of my research and what I've done, they're worthless. And they'll probably die out with this recession. That's really what I'm waiting on. Like, this recession is going to clear the way for the real projects and the real coins. Like, we're going to really see, when the dust settles, we're going to see who's legit. Because once we get this flush out, which is what, you know, I study a lot of experts, so I'm really big on Greg Dickerson, Garrett Salloway. Like, those are like my favorite economists / traders on YouTube right now. So I advise everybody to check them out. I watch them every day. Anything they come out with, I'm watching it. So they help put me on game to kind of how the market works, because Garrett's not that old, but Greg Dickerson, he was in the housing market and things like that, and he's seen a few recessions. He knows how this stuff works. He got his stripes, so he really broke it down to me where it was very like, you know, simple and easy for me to understand, and I understand how these type of cycles work. And you need this to happen. Like, you need these recessions. You need these to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it clears out all the BS.
Yeah.
And we really need that in the crypto space right now, just because like there are so many scams and terrible projects out there, and they need to just go away so we can have something that we can stand on. That's why I'm not touching nothing until I can figure out a bottom on this on the recession right now. But I'm pretty much, it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna wait for the Fed to say, okay, we're gonna ease up and we're gonna start printing again. Cause that's what happened. That's what happened when I traded Bitcoin. So right when I did that, that's when the whole stimulus was starting to come out.
Right.
And what people do is at least the smart money, is they take that extra money, because especially when it's cheap money to borrow and stuff like that, they throw it in the stock market and assets and things like that are supposed to go up, because it only makes sense. Use other people's money to make money.
Right. That's it.
That's pretty much, that's law right there. So that's why you seen all that stuff go up, because people had all this extra wealth. They throw it in the market. So that it was just clear as day what I needed to do.
Right.
You know, trillions of dollars of stimulus. Like, I'm finna ride this pony until I can't.
Right.
You know, I wish I would have got out a little earlier, but you know, this was my first bear market, and this is my first recession as an adult, where I have money and, you know, some type of a say so in what's going on.
No, but that being said, it's probably gonna be, I would say, and this is just Farouk speaking, it's probably gonna be a couple months, as in 12 months or so, before we get to that point where the Fed say, okay, we're gonna ease up and start printing money. We're way too soon, or way too in the midst of a recession to even say, oh, we should stop and let the pedal off or let the foot off the pedal. We're not even to that point yet. So with that being said, you're probably gonna be sitting on the sideline for a while.
Yes. So to your point, yeah, the Federal Reserve is just getting started. So if you want to get into investing, like, you need to be abreast of what's going on in the economy. That is going to tell you what your assets are going to do. That's why the stock market is tanking, but people think it's just doing it to do it. No, what they're doing is they're trying to get all that money that they put in circulation out. They're trying to destroy demand. They're trying to destroy your wealth so they can stop the activity in the economy. Like, it's all on purpose. They've been pumping the market since 08, 09. And then they did a massive pump in 2020. So they're trying to correct all that. That's why the inflation is crazy. And inflation is nowhere near where they want it. So they're just getting started. Like, what I'm hearing is, like, it could be, another 12 to 18 months. Like, recessions typically are like that long. But, they're saying it could be even longer. Like, it could be like a long, drawn out one. It might not be like Great Depression, even though I've heard that too. Yeah. Like, we could be looking at that because we're at a point where I've heard the word stagflation popping up, where they're talking about like the inflation's high and the growth is low. Mm-hmm. Like, we just getting screwed on both ends. So typically you usually have like one or the other, but it could be really bad. Like, I'm still learning just because, like, I've never seen a recession before. When I first started investing in crypto and stuff like that, everything was going up. Like, you just had to be confident in the decision that you were making.
So it's funny you said that, because I feel like 2020, 2021 spoiled a lot of people, as far as it gave this false sense of trading to a lot of people who didn't know what the heck was going on in the first place. So people just thought, I'm going to throw this X amount of money in the stock market. I'm going to get some type of guaranteed money back, which that's not how the stock market worked. The last 2 years, it's been so much easier to make any type of money in the stock market than it's been, I would say, the last 20, 30 years. And that's not how the stock market works at all. Usually you have to do some trades. You have to stay in it for a while to even see a 10% profit. The last couple of years, people are in 2 days making 25, 30, 100%, 200%, and that's just not how it works.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Yeah, that's not normal at all.
Not normal at all.
Extremely abnormal. So a lot of people have been spoiled by that and are now coming to this realization, like, whoa, I can't 2x my money in 2 days. No, you can't.
I was actually scared when I was 2xing my money.
You like, it can't be this easy.
This is not right, bro. Yeah. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. You thought the IRS was gonna come after you.
Yeah. And they will too. They still will. But
well, with that being said, too, talking about that, I really want to talk more about like the major cryptocurrencies, right? Because a lot of people are saying, okay, a recession's coming. Let's take Bitcoin for example. If you look at the historical data for Bitcoin, it's always gone peak, valley, peak, valley. This is like the third trimester of it going peak and then valley, right? Going back all the way to 2011. With that being said, me as some type of crypto analyst, just a newbie, I would say, well, there's nothing really to be afraid about here, because if you look at the historical data, this is part of what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
All we have to do is wait until this bottoms out and get in at the bottom, because we know it's going to go back. It just reached a new all-time high of 69,000. So I know the next time it goes, it has that bull run in 4, 5, 6 years. $100,000 is definitely a legitimate all-time high to reach. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's definitely a good observation, and that's something that I wish more people would understand, just because nothing stays up forever, and it doesn't stay down forever. It can trend up like the stock market or indexes and stuff like that. It trends up, but it has its pullbacks. It has its reversals. Now, with crypto, they're a lot more violent, like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%
pullbacks.
Retracements are not uncommon, especially when you're dealing with a new asset class such as crypto. Like, people got to realize, like, gold has been around for thousands of years. Stock market has been around for hundreds of years or something like that. Like, that's tried and true. So it's going to be a lot more stable. Like, you're essentially looking at a 13-year-old when you look at Bitcoin. How many 13s you know got it together? I'll wait. The market is the same. So you have to be able to stomach your losses. Now, another thing that's going to hurt is that a lot of people bought Bitcoin at the top, like probably between like 50 and 70,000.
Silly.
Right.
Them 40s.
Right, because they
Silly.
FOMO'd in. They FOMO'd in and
definitely
got
FOMO.
wrecked.
Definitely
right?
FOMO.
So
Silly.
now they think it's a scam or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And now they got to sit through this recession because they're not gonna see. They're not gonna see green for a long time.
I hope they're not trying to sell or whatever.
Nah, you be brain dead to sell right
Yeah,
now. You
for
already
sure.
at a loss. Just hold what you got.
Yeah, hold what you got.
Just hold it.
Hold it.
But
Yeah,
you
buy more, to be honest.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like you should be dollar cost averaging it. And of course, this is just my, observation. Invest at your own risk. I am not no financial advisor, but I would say dollar cost average into it. But you need to, because we're just going to talk about Bitcoin right now because it's tried and true, and I believe that it's going to be here forever. All these other coins, not too sure about them. I know about Ethereum. I like Ethereum long term. It's pretty much the backbone of crypto.
What's the difference between Ethereum, Bitcoin, Shiba? Why are you to have confidence in some of this stuff and what is it?
It's really comes down to like the use case. Like you have to understand what problem it solves. It's just like with a company or a business. Like you have to solve problems. That's what makes things valuable. That's what makes people valuable because it solves a problem. Now, if I'm just starting with, let me get Shiba out the way. First of all, Shiba and Dogecoin, those are like they're literally called meme coins.
Mm-hmm.
They're jokes.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says around them and this and that. They're jokes. Like I like to look at supply and how people are using them and things like that, and they just don't fit any of my criteria. Let's just throw that out. But when we're getting into like the big boys, so like Bitcoin and Ethereum is pretty simply, there's a lot. So it's its own specific like ecosystem, like blockchain or however you want to think about it. And there's a lot of crypto coins and projects built on top of it. So if it fails, then there's going to be a whole lot of other people that fail. Right. So with that being said, just because there's so much riding on Ethereum, I just can't see it just failing like that. And then the guy that started it is a genius. I can't even say his name, but that guy is a genius. He's got the street cred or whatever you want to call it. He's got the credentials. Yeah, he's legit. So, I also like to invest in the teams and stuff like that. It kind of goes to NFTs, so that's kind of something that you do when you're investing in that space. But you got to look at the team and things like that. But when it comes to Bitcoin was created during the last recession, the financial crisis, because it solved the problem of our monetary supply being controlled by a central entity. Because essentially, like the Federal Reserve, they print as much money as they want, and it causes all this inflation and things like that. And this is a lot deeper, but it's not really not helping us just because like it's causing all that inflation. Like printing all this money is not good. Bitcoin solves the problem because first of all, it gives the power back to us because it's a transparent blockchain. We know every transaction. We know where all the Bitcoin is, who has it, how much there's going to be of it. And every 4 years, the supply gets cut in half, right? So
supply and demand.
It's basic supply and demand.
Bro, but I got to come at you for the rest of the folks that are at home thinking the same way I'm thinking.
Okay, talk to me.
Wasn't Bitcoin supposed to be a hedge against inflation? What's happening? Because that's been the furthest thing from the truth.
Right.
Inflation went high, Bitcoin went low. It was supposed to be the same parallel cause and effect. So what happened? If Bitcoin was, created and promulgated off of this theory that it's supposed to be a hedge against inflation, and that's where its value came from. So far, it hasn't done that.
Right. Nah, I see where you're going at, but we also have to remember what I was saying before. It's young, it's very new. The first thing that people are gonna think about, if they got some money in crypto and they got this high interest debt that they need to take care of, they're gonna sell that Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like gold. Like gold, like I said, has been around for thousands of years. It's not gonna move much. I think like 2% or something like that is impressive or whatever. So like, you got to give Bitcoin some time to kind of find its legs. But if you understand why it was created and what its use case is, which is pretty simply to take back the control and put it in the hands of the people, because there's nobody that has control over it. We already know there's only going to be ever 21 million. The government or the Federal Reserve, they can print as much money as they want, which decreases our dollar, which causes all these issues that we're seeing now. And it's just not good to basically be at the mercy of somebody else. And Bitcoin basically gives us our power back as far as, financially. And there could be probably way down the line, but there will most likely be, in my observation and kind of like my theory, that we just use Bitcoin as money. We probably won't even cash it out as cash.
I don't see that happen. Because besides the supply aspect, what other value does Bitcoin even offer? Versus Ethereum. Ethereum has contracts in it. Ethereum has proof of stake, proof of work. It has tangible contracts where I can give Jarvis some Ethereum for some work he did, or he can vice versa give me some Ethereum for mow his lawn. You can't do that with Bitcoin. So what value does Bitcoin really have?
So you haven't been able to send nobody any Bitcoin?
I can send them Bitcoin, but I'm talking about, how we pay folks like for Uber, right?
Yeah.
Ethereum makes you able to do that. You can make an encrypted code. That person has to complete the work first and then they get paid. That's a contract. Bitcoin doesn't have all that sophisticated avenues. Bitcoin is going off of supply and demand. Okay, there's 21 million. It halves every 4 years. That's all great and dandy, but what type of inherent value does it actually bring to the economy?
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, there's more.
And I'm saying that's not enough.
Why not?
What else does it do for me besides supply and demand?
I mean, that's what you need. That's what we need. So let's go back. So the reason why our money is so worthless, because fiat is what we use now. Fiat currency.
Yeah, this infinite
it means
amount
that
of
it's not backed by anything.
Yeah.
Right. So, the gold standard, they wiped that out. So now we can print as much money as we want. Now, because we do that, it devalues our dollar. That we've seen that with Venezuela. That's why their economy is
horrible.
It's horrible because they overinflated the dollar. And we're headed that way right now. It's just not time yet, because we've just been kicking that can down the road, borrowing money because we're not making anything. So like, we're borrowing money to buy goods from other people or fund wars or whatever the case is. And then in order for us to pay that off, because they bound it up in like bonds and stuff like that, sell it off to other countries and investors and things like that, and they can't pay them. So they print more money to pay them, which puts us in a bigger deficit. I think there's only like 120 trillion actual dollars that we have, and we owe like twice that, and it just keeps growing.
Don't forget, China also owns like half her debt, so they can call
Right.
They can call the check in anytime they want.
Right, but you can't do that with Bitcoin, just because, for one, there's nobody that controls it. We all control it. It's verified by thousands of computers.
So when it's bought up, everybody else just
screwed?
Yeah.
No. There's some type of a mathematical equation that the original guy did that says that if everybody, there's enough to because you can break it down into pieces. It's not about having a whole Bitcoin. Like, it can be broken down in such very small pieces,
which the normal person is buying it anyways.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So everybody will be able to have access to it. Like, the math, it's way more sophisticated than I can even get into, because I'm not a coder or anything like that.
Right.
But the way it was done was that it accounted for the guy who created it accounted for everybody to be able to have some of it, regardless of whatever that amount is.
So why does so many people put emphasis on, oh, well, it's only X amount. Everybody uses that, but everything you just told me, wipes out everything that Joe Blow is over here telling me about. Oh, well, it's only 21 million or trillion of Bitcoin. Whatever.
Because they're thinking about it from a standpoint of, I got to have a whole one. Like, there's only going to be 21 million whole ones, but you can cut that thing down
Different
so
pieces.
minute that everybody can get some of it. That's what I did. I never had a whole one.
Right.
But even with 21 million, there's never going to be a case where everyone has a piece of it. There's only going to be a finite amount where, let's say, a quarter of the population controls Bitcoin.
See, I see where we're going with this, and this is like a very dark rabbit hole that it's not something that I can really answer.
Sure.
But I know based off of the math that everybody should be able to obtain it, or at least the majority, like a very, very high majority should be able to obtain some of it, because what you got to realize is that the more you buy it or the less there is, the higher the price goes. So I can't see anybody paying $20 million for just one. I mean, of course, somebody definitely could.
Sure.
But if they do that, then who are they going to sell it to? Because when you're trading and things like that, you're selling it to a buyer.
Yeah.
If you control most of it,
I got you. I see what
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to be insolvent. You're just going to be stuck with all this Bitcoin until you find a way to get it off you.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, to head to the finish line here, tell the audience what type of news are you really paying attention to as far as crypto. This is not financial advice per se, but if you're a new investor, what cryptos would you be investing in right now?
I am only thinking about Bitcoin right now. I'm not even going front.
Okay.
And the only news that I'm looking at right now is things that are concerning with the economy, because I'm waiting for Bitcoin to bottom out so I can scoop it back up for virtually the same price that I had, but I got way more money now, and I'm going to go hard on it again. So I am waiting for all these assets to just go to nothing, or as low as I feel like they can be. I'm going to study the chart. I'm going to wait for it to consolidate. I'm going to listen for the sweet sirens of the Federal Reserve that they're going to pump this money back into this economy, and I'm going to go crazy.
Gotcha.
Now, unfortunately, I really want to get into the metaverse as well, so I kind of look at some stuff there. But just in a nutshell, I'm only looking at like Bloomberg, studying what the Federal Reserve is doing, kind of paying attention to what's going on in our economy, because I'm trying to figure out a bottom for Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
So I can get back.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you can find a bottom of Bitcoin.
Yes. You will be up forever, because like it's not like this is a recession. Like another thing that people need to realize is that Bitcoin has never been existence when we are going through what they call quantitative tightening. Like, we've only seen Bitcoin in a bull market. This is the first time that we've seen Bitcoin in a bear market where they're not pumping money into the economy. So we're really going to see this thing drop.
Test out. Yeah.
You feel me? And if you call this bottom right, you are going to, you're going to sleep like a baby, because it's going to go nuts again. And there's another halving coming in 2024. It's going to halve again. That was my rocket ship the first time, right? So that's that free alpha that we talking about right now, and of course, I'm speculating a little bit, but I'm just based off of my past experience, what I know about the economy and investing and studying technical analysis. I'm just literally going to do the same exact thing, except for I understand what's going on with our money now and the monetary policy and things like that and how it works.
It's crazy you say that, because if you think about, the life of a recession and when the half is coming for Bitcoin, the end of the recession and the half of Bitcoin is going to happen at the same time, essentially.
Right. Well, in theory, the recession should be wrapping up, but
Right, that's what I'm saying. Wrapping
right.
up, and then it's the beginning. It's the half
Right.
coming. Yeah, that's what
Yeah, like the perfect storm would be the halving, and then the Fed's like, all right, ready to put this money back in.
for sure.
You know, so
We'll see.
but you know, and this is the time that let's even put Bitcoin aside. Like this is the time to be getting into whatever you can.
Yeah, everything.
Because this is where wealth is built in these recessions. Like, there's nothing to be scared of. I mean, it sucks that people lose their jobs and, you know, things are expensive and things like that. But I encourage everybody to find something that they're interested in, whether it be real estate, stocks, gold, paintings, whatever it is. Find something and invest in it. Because this is where generational wealth is created with whatever amount of money that you have. You can flip it. This is the time.
That's awesome, brother. Well, shoot, let's close it out here. We got a couple questions from the audience. The first one is, what's the most money you've lost in a trade?
One trade or
just like overall?
Because it's kind of hard because like
Sure,
I've had certain accounts. Okay, so man, in Forex, $3,000.
$3,000.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as like the common risk in the crypto market, what would those be?
What you mean?
Just risk. What if I'm a new investor going into crypto? What risks should I be looking out for?
I mean, regardless of what you're investing in, you should never invest anything that you can't lose. Like, don't put your rent money in crypto or anything.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Why
Especially not crypto.
Why not?
Man, look.
That's how you gonna get it.
I mean, yeah, like big risk, big reward, but I highly don't recommend you doing what I did. Don't do what I did. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, look
Don't
at
do
you
what I
now.
did.
You
Yeah,
40, 50 grand out.
I feel you, but like, man, I did a lot of research and I was pretty lucky, bro. Honestly,
Nah, I'm just playing.
I was pretty lucky. Don't do that. I was pretty lucky. I caught it at the right time, and I actually did the research. Most people, 9 times out of 10 people, not gonna read.
All right. With that being said, for a lot of people who might not have the capital, or maybe just starting out, how much capital do you need to get started in crypto or just investing?
I mean, it depends on the type of returns that you want to see. Just because, like, you could do things like invest in microcap coins, which I believe. I mean, I've heard different definitions, but it's typically anything that has $10 million or less as far as the money invested in it, and you could see like 5, 10, 15, 20x returns in that, but that's super dangerous, and there's a lot of research to be doing in that because there's a lot of scams involved, right? So, I mean, honestly, anything. Like, if you stick with like Bitcoin or something like that, you could flip pretty much anything. I only had $2,500 at one point, and flipped it all the way to 38 grand. So,
Bro, let me hold something.
It really just depends on how volatile the market is at that time. Like, I invested during the bull market, like right when they did the $1 trillion, $2 trillion stimulus. So it was just, the timing was just right. Mm-hmm. You know, because that's how the crypto market works. And if you got an NFTs, bro, I know some people up stupid money. I know, like, if anybody follows NFTs, there's a blue chip project called Bored Ape.
Yeah.
I think they came out for like a couple hundred, maybe even less than $100, bro. Each one of them things was worth like 300 grand, bro.
Yeah, but it also came down. It came down
quick. It came down, but it's still they still like a minimum probably like 50K. I haven't looked at the market in a minute.
Nah. Those Bored Apes, someone bought it.
What's the lowest you done seen?
Someone bought it for like 50,000. It came all the way down to like maybe a couple $100. No cap.
When?
Recently.
Stop, bro. I'm about to
NFTs.
I'm about to get one.
Oh, get one now because you can get a bargain for it. But as far as like when it was at its highest, its peak, a couple months back, it was trading for multiple thousands of dollars. Those jokers are trading for
bro. At their height, bro, they were like, bro.
Yes.
300,000. If you had like a crypto punk at one time, them things was like a couple million or something like that. It was crazy. It was like a whole mania because like it was pretty much like the hype of the industry at that point. So and people got them things for like less than $100 or something when they first came out. A year later, bro, you a couple 100,000 up.
Listen, this was a great episode. But before I close out, I want to make sure, folks, take everything with a grain of salt. We're not responsible for you taking your
Absolutely
rent money.
not. I want to make that clear.
We're not
man.
responsible for you taking your car payment money. Stay
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.